friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, Independent Stamping Up Demonstrator. Today I have a fun fold card for you using the new stamp set coming out January 3rd in the Stampin' Up mini catalog, and it is the Clubhouse stamp set, and it is bundled with the golf club dies. Look at all those dies, and you know what really comes to jump out at me is these two long framelit dies that'll frame your sentiments. So can you imagine all the times that you've wanted a die that's going to fit over a small sentiment? Well, they're in this set. Yay! So we're going to be making this fun fold here using some of the new designer paper, the Clubhouse paper, and it is a gorgeous palette of all those great guy colors, Night of Navy, Garden Green, Crushed Curry. I love the Poppy Parade that's in there too, a nice bright red. And look at the beautiful argyle and the plaids and the little emblems here. These are cut out with those dies here. So you're able to use that. Now this is cut out too. Very easily you can take this pennant die here and cut these pennants out here of the designer paper. I love that we can do that with our paper. A beautiful argyle of blues and greens and some golf flags there. And then a nice palette with the crushed curry and the garden green argyle there and some neat little golf clubs there. Golf bags. So that's a really pretty paper to use on a lot of different masculine cards. Well, this fun fold is just super simple to make, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do it. We're going to use our palette of Night of Navy for our card base here. And as you can see, it's just folding over this way. And this size of our cardstock paper and all the measurements and the products, colors, anything I've used on the card will be on my blog, CindyLeeBDesigns.com, and after the description on the YouTube, you will see a link to go to my blog to find that out. And you'll also see it in the description for the card on YouTube for this video. So we're going to take a piece of Night of Navy. It's a half sheet, but we're actually going to have it cut down to 5.5 by 6.5. So it's 5.5 by 6.5, and we're going to score it at 2 1/4 so that it folds over, and we have a 2 1/4 inch piece here on this side. And that leaves us the perfect place to put a 2-inch piece of the designer paper. When you're using 2 inches, you're going to get 6 pieces across a 12 by 12, and if you're making it 5 1/4, as we will on here, you're going to get 2 of them. So you're going to get 6 pieces, 12 pieces out of one 12 by 12. So I love using 2-inch increments on my designer paper because I can get a lot of bang for my buck. So we're going to use this pretty argyle here. And why don't we just go ahead and put that on here. And if you can see here, this is the pattern that had like the basic gray pattern that you could color in, which I was okay with, but I really wasn't upset that I was covering it up because I don't see that I personally would use it. I know some people are fantastic with their coloring and would love that. So we're going to have it opening on having this panel here on the right side. So all we are going to do is put our inside so that we can kind of see what's going on here. Once again, I used a 2-inch piece here, and it's going on the inside of the card along with the white that we're going to put our sentiments on, and then you can write your message. So we're just going to take this 2, and isn't this a cute pattern too? I did like that. That's kind of adorable too. It's interesting to see so that would be pretty on the card as well. But I'm really was going with the plaid here on this one. So we're just going to get our snail going the right direction. And then we're going to adhere this to the inside of the card first in case we need to do any trimming or anything of that sort. And it looks like it's fitting on here just dandy. So there we go. And we have that inside there. I do say I have a little bit of overhang, but I don't even think I'm going to take the time to trim that because then I might end up making my line a little bit, excuse that camera there, it'll end up making my line off a little bit. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it here. It's just bugging me there. That little sliver there that's showing never fails when I'm cutting I always get a little bit. So that's going to go right there. But what we're going to do is go ahead and stamp here as well. Now I went ahead and used my little Stampin' spots that come in my paper pumpkin, and I just used those because these were smaller stamps here and easier to maneuver. So we're going to put the happy birthday up here at the top. Hopefully I can do this straight. There, happy birthday in the garden green, pulling that garden green color out. And then I want to do the, I hope the next year is full of green fairways, blue skies, and short putts. And so we're going to pull out our Poppy Parade ink pad, our little ink spot. You know, each paper pumpkin comes with an exclusive color in there, and they are not repeating them each year. But if you don't subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, you can make your own spots by getting our uninked ones. Now let me make sure that we have this. And I noticed here that I have more red rubber on this side of my stamp, so I'm going to kind of use this side that's a little tighter as my guideline there. And it turned out, there we go. Fits right in that space there that's 2 1/4 inches. So now we can put this in here, and this white piece was 4 inches by 5 1/4. Typically what you're using on an A2 sized card is your insert. If you're putting an 1/8 of an inch border the whole way around is going to be that. So then we will just put that on the inside of our card, and now we can see that this covers up just a little bit of the designer paper, so it has a nice cohesive look there. It almost teases your eye, tricks your eye that this is actually the same size. Okay, so now if we look here, now we just are going to work on this little panel here. Now a lot of people will put this fold underneath their paper here, but I don't like to have the bulk there, so I put it on the back of my card. So what I did is I stamped and then cut out using the rectangle that's it's a stitched rectangle that's about a little over 2 1/2 by 4. It's a little over 2 1/2 by 4. And so then I just measured out what I would like my border to be around there, and then I added 1/4 inch on to the where I'm going to score and fold it around there. So that ends up making this piece of navy 3 1/8 by 4 3/16. So 3 1/8 by 4 3/16. And then that gives a perfect border all around all 4 sides. And then we just score the last 1/4 inch of our 3 1/8 inch side. Okay, so we may as well go ahead and use our Tombow and put that on our card. Just put a little sliver of Tombow right there, and then we're just going to pop that on here. Just look to get about the same amount on each side, and then just burnish that there. And now we have that fold over. Didn't leave it there long enough, Cindy Brumbaugh. Okay, so there we go. Give your Tombow a second there to dry. I'm going to sit that aside for a second, and then we're just going to pay attention to the golfer guy here. And I just used my blends on him, and I looked at the different colors that were in my Argyle pattern here, and I pulled out, of course, for the pants. I wanted to do some, and I used the light Night of Navy blend, and I always use my brush side. I feel like that point I have more control over, and then you just kind of brush it on. I find I turn my paper a lot when I'm coloring, because it seems I can get a better look there. I'm not the most fantastic at coloring, so that is why these blends are so useful to me, because they make me look like I know what I'm doing. And then just get right along those little edges and right up against his waist. Almost done. And then I just fill in the white then. So we've got his pants filled in there. I noticed when I'm usually coloring, I find that I end up seeing little spaces here, like his belt. We'll fill in his belt with some gray and a little bit on the bottom of the sole of the foot there. And I'm going to color his golf glove here. Oh, I just realized, do you wear two? Well, I'm giving him two gloves. You can tell I don't play golf. We live on a golf course, but I don't play golf. Don't know much about golf, so I may have just colored his hand gray. Then Poppy Parade. Poppy Parade on his shirt. Ooh, it's such a neat red to use. It's just different than real red, which is one of my favorite colors. But this one just a little brighter. Go up around the outside lines. Around his collar. And this is his shirt here. Shirt. Shirt. And just bring it down. See, even when you're not the world's greatest colorer, if that's a word, you can get away with it. So, oh, I realized I did his hat in blue as well. The Night of Navy later. There we go. And I guess since I colored in all of the, I think I'll just color in all his gloves. I don't know. I'll probably show it to my husband and he'll say, you better check out this, and use the ivory blend to give him his skin. Get his arm there. If you've been watching the weather down here in Florida, it's a little, and then I put a little bit of green for the grass. I just kind of filled it in a little bit because I just felt like it was a little bit missing something down there. So I filled in a little bit of green right along the line there. So that was just your Call Me Clover, and that was the dark one that I used there. Ha! So our little golfer is done. I guess we could color in the little thing on the golf club there. How's that? Alrighty. So we've got him all colored up, and then we're just going to pop it onto the front of our fold over. Let's grab our snail here. Remember, if you go to color something that you're going to see from the other side, make sure that you're putting it onto a border just like this. And see how nice that blue is around all four sides, and then you've got that 1/4 inch on the back there. So then I thought it would be great to put a little sentiment here. And so you can see here, I used my stitched oval, and then I used my regular layering ovals here. And then I did something fun on there. So let's just put that oval that I stamped with the Poppy Parade. And boy, it was really nice to use the Stampin' Ink Spot on that one because it's a more fine-lined image there. And then I took that same stamped image, stamped it again in Night of Navy, and then, as I said, this little die here cuts this out. So I just stamped it, went to the Big Shot, got that die cut out of there, and then I'm just going to use some of my little stray pieces here on the ends of my dimensionals, and I'm just going to pop those on the back of that pennant, and it just gave a little more depth and color to that image. So we've got poppy and garden green and Night of Navy, and then you just pop it right on to where the pennant was. And then since we are going to, I had considered putting the dimensionals here and then having this slide in here, but I think it was too wide to slide. So I'm just gonna put my dimensionals on here. So I just took out a brand new pack of dimensionals and I just put them on the one side of the oval, and then just pop those little protective coatings off of there, and then pop that sentiment right onto the opening part, and you've got a neat little fun fold here. It was a great way to showcase this larger image here, and then you could pull all the colors out of that really pretty Clubhouse Designer Series paper, and then you're only using a 2-inch wide on your Designer Series paper, so you're getting a lot more out of a 12 by 12. And then we just added in a really neat sentiment in there, and as you can see, it has Happy Father's Day, and then You're the Greatest Guy by Par. You know, that could just be a thank you card. And here's the hope the next year is full of green fairways, blue skies, and short putts. That can go with your happy birthday or your happy Father's Day. And as you can see here too, these dies that are in here, in the golf club dies, you've got this image that's cut out with a pennant, like more like an emblem. And you've got a golf tee, you've got a golf ball that'll sit on that golf tee, you've got the golf clubs, you've got a flag, you've got this ivy that would go around the crest, like right around here. So you could cut this stamped image out of there. And you've got some tufts of grass, really awesome. So I can see myself using this set, and especially, oh gosh, I'm coveting this set for these 2 dies that are going to be used all the time. So there you go, a fun fold using the new Clubhouse bundle that's in the new catalog coming out. As you can see, you can mix and match your Designer Series papers. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.